always there. There were some problems with Twitch a couple of weeks ago, and he brought it to my attention that we'd go online, but it wouldn't be live. And I'm like, And I checked it out, and it was kind of weird. I don't know what was going on, but apparently they fixed it, whatever was happening.
Awesomeness. All right, lost in thought. What is your favorite thing to order from? Oh, wait. Before you do that, I want to make a quick PSA. My daughter is going to be in a musical called You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I've been trying to tell everybody. It's going to be at Connolly High School. Her performances are Tuesday and Saturday. Go on the Connolly.
That was Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesday and Friday. Sorry, I'm not caffeinated yet. Tuesday and Friday. Link in bio on the Cougar Theater Instagram. $10 a ticket, which is a steal for an hour and a half of entertainment. And of course, she's my kid, so she's playing Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's the one walking around like this, and I'm like, oh yeah. I always tell her she's me 2.0. All right, lost in thought. Who's coming up next?
I thought you were going to ask me what my favorite thing to do.
I am. What is your favorite thing to order from the bar?
Well, one of my favorite things I did order, which is the cheddar bacon biscuits.
Did you get it toasted?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Where the cheese melts.
So good.
All right, lost in thought. Who's coming up?
So, coming up next, not a new voice, but a new name.
Go for it. Who is
Yes.
it? I'm curious.
Let's hear it for Mr. Jack Edwards.
Hi. It's actually Jack Edwin. That's my middle name is Edwin. You said once, you'll get it eventually. And if you smash them together, it actually spells Jacked Twin. Jacked. So maybe easy to remember. I don't have my guitar with me, and so I forgot that. It's a little important. So I'm just going to say a poem and I'll be done. And I'll tell you what the name of the poem is after it's over. In the world I saw chaos, so I sought to turn it around. But the world wasn't working right, so it spiraled down. What was happening? I stopped, sat, and let it be. The world was just fine. This chaos was in me. I sought to help others, but it was me who suffered more from another who came and left chaos at my door. They too tried their best to foster my way through. But at that time, I was fine. The world created me anew. In the world, I saw fury roar, but now I stayed quite still. All the people needed then was a space for chaos to fill, until it unwound and became clear again, and listened as it rose. And slowly music formed itself, nature's sound composed. Years passed before a friend requested my humble advice. She'd been confused at my acceptance. Her world was in strife. We'd grown apart over new changes, so I decided to say goodbye. So I said it clear, here's my acceptance, and this is the reason why. I love myself, so myself I keep. I love you too, so I set you free. And with that, the day settled, and the world was within me.
Yay!
The title of that is Chaos Theory. It's not the original Chaos Theory, it's a different one, just for reference. I think the other one's a science thing. Okay. That's all I have. I have no guitar with me, so that's the thing I got. Thank you.
Woo! Let's hear it for Jack Edwards.
Sorry, I was climbing stairs over at the high school, now I'm climbing stairs here. I need a cane. All right, and don't forget about the deliciousness you can get at the bar. They've got sodas, they've got Mexican Coke. There, I can actually see some slices of cake over there. I'm actually eating a drive turkey sandwich, which is very delicious.
It is very good.
It is. Lost of thought. Who's coming up next?
Gigante. I just like saying.
It actually is gigante.
I like saying gigante and buble. Michael Buble. I like saying that.
It's my
Buble.
phone.
Yeah, I didn't want you to lose it because
I wish my name was
It
Buble.
just had been my
Ernie
You wanna
Buble.
be Ernie Buble?
Almost. And special Buble. It's not that far of a stretch.
So how do you pronounce boba tea?
A bullet. That's not that's fun. Buble.
Okay, move on before Ernie B talks again.
Buble.
See? I told you.
So we're going virtual again.
Woo! Woo! Who is it?
Virtually speaking, it is Shane Miller.
Shane Miller!
it messes up my YouTube thing. My YouTube live thing. It's so annoying. It doesn't make any sense.
Hold on, Jay. I gotta make a couple of adjustments over here. Please direct your attention to the monitor behind the stage, and you will see Shane behind the bar. Okay, take it away, Shane.
Alright, you guys hear me?
Yes.
Alright. I've got two poems tonight. I've got two poems tonight, but both of these are kind of old. This first one is one that I wrote when I was first starting out, called Disappearing Act. Ladies, gents, and whatever else, gather round and bear witness to a new magic show, though I only know one trick. It may just blow your minds. But tonight I make myself disappear. Now you see me and now you do not, as I vanish from view, finding a little place to hide out in the back of my mind, while everyone else believes I'm blind. In truth, my sight has never been clearer. Today presents itself the rarest chance to clear my head away from public gaze, to refocus my thoughts and look inwards as I simply fade out of sight and mind. No longer is my vision blurred, tainted by looking through a lens of false sympathy, instead seeing through clarity of my apathy. For just a day, no one else mattered but I alone. Off the grid, I found myself unbound, unrestricted, unchained by that which weighed me, unburdened and undeniably finally free to explore myself without the judging eye of my fellow man. And it was a day of quiet, of contemplation, carelessly centered around my much-needed meditation, surrounding on all sides by the silence, though I do love to paint upon it with melodies of my own design. Locked away in my self-tailored cell, I resign. One day with no stressors, no noise, nor nothing lacking meaning, every sensation blending in harmony, as I slowly drifted, content to let life happen as it pleased. For once, my mind was at ease. Chastised by no one, mocked by no one, defied by no one, hurt by no one, while I pitied that it was so brief. It only lasted for one day. I was alone, but I was free. The chaos contrasted with the quiet as the world around me kept on, and I was not to be concerned, carrying forward in one day of self-healing so long as I could catch my breath. All right. Now, this other piece is something entirely different. This is some really old shit that was written by my great-great-grandmother, Adeline L. Ballou, during the Civil War. She was a suffragist, she was a poet, she was a painter. She was one of the first women to ever self-publish in America. So this is a poem from her book called Driftwood, and the poem is called Two Sides, published in 1899. A knight in armor from the east proudly bestrode his noble beast, attendant at a royal feast. High o'er the arch that spanned the way, which caught the sun's reflecting ray, a glittering shield was hung that day. Another rider from the west, also in knightly armor dressed, approached as guest saluted guest. Up spoke the first with gesture bold, Sir Knight, God speed you, and behold how beautiful the shield of gold. Ah, beautiful, but you mistake, the shield is of another make, to the silver I my life would stake. Crap, where did it go? Sorry? It seems to have disappeared on me. Ah, here it is. Indeed, Sir Knight, you do but jest. 'Tis plain my eyes do serve best. 'Tis gold, and there will let it rest. Not so, the other hot replied. You do my vision so divide. Your words imply that I have lied. And so each sentence drew more fire, nor would they either one retire till they had spent their deadly ire. And so it came about by chance, each on his neighbor drew his lance, nor vexed the direful circumstance. About that shield they slashed and swore, till fainting they could go no more, then welter in each other's gore. A runner from the castle's gate cried out upon such starry state, indeed you'll make the dinner late. Excuse my breach of courtly rules, but when, good sirs, your anger cools, you'll both admit that you were fools. You could have spared this dire disgrace, had you but changed each one his place, and met your host in better grace. Again, if I may be so bold, that both were right each could have told. That side is silver, and this is gold. 'Tis ill-advised, hot words to waste, the proof of rights to clog with haste, for truth at times may be displaced. All right, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much again.
All right, give it up for Shane Miller. That is so cool. A poem from the Civil War.
That is cool.
I was just like, oh, wait, no way.
From his great grandmother or something.
Great? Is it two greats?
I think 2 grades would put you about the late 1800s. Yeah,
Wow.
right? It was my understanding there would be no math. 2 sides. He just commented on here. Hold on now. I love the old chat window here.
The ye old chat window. God, we've come-
Great grandmother. 2 grades.
2 greats. Okay. So 2 grandmothers back from his regular grandmother.
That was the one.
Yeah.
I was like regular grandmother as opposed to extra
His
strength
grandma's
grandma.
Good
Well,
one.
she actually was an extra strength grandma. If she was a suffragette during the Civil War, hell yes she was.
Now with extra strength grandma.
It's his grandma. I figured it out.
So
Great,
no
great.
more greats. We're gonna do
Grandma's
extra
mom's mom.
strength and maximum strength. I've worked in a
grandma's away.
pharmacy way too long.
Nothing like
Okay,
the electric
lost in
grandma.
thought. Who's coming up next?
Ooh, coming up next, we have. Actually,
She also served as a combat nurse in the war effort.
Wow.
And she did. That's see. That's
I'm
some.
saluting your extra strength grandma, Shane.
They don't make grandmas like that anymore.
I mean, that's one thing I did admire about Queen Elizabeth. She actually drove, like, what do you call it? Jeeps? I mean, not jeeps, tanks in World War II.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a badass.
This is the prayer for good
And
luck.
meanwhile, we got all the little fluff.
Fluff grandmas these days.
Oh, no. Her fluff descendants
Oh.
probably can't even wipe their own asses. Okay! I'm sorry. Lost of thought. Who's coming up next?
They could be driving tanks, you know.
Well, maybe William and Harry, but I don't know about the others.
Oh, you're talking about okay. I thought you some random. Okay, never mind. I guess I was half listening. That's right.
Lost in thought, ladies and gentlemen, he lives up to his name.
It's kind of important to pay attention to the show when you're in the show.
When you're actually on stage,
Yeah, with a
in the
microphone.
show.
With a microphone in hand.
This is how
What?
Let's just move on.
Go on, come on.
Okay,
Please, dear God.
so returning to the stage, it's been a bit since she's been here, but let's hear it for Amiella.
Woo!
Thank you.
Your assistance, as needed.
As needed.
Bring out the trombone. No, it's not.
That's not hurting.
We're on to you, Ernie.
That was me on the trombone.
It wasn't. Yes.
Okay, no, it wasn't.
Telekinesis. Free to enter, but it's $10 to get it.
Hi, I'm sorry. My son, some disability, so I can't voice. That's why I read my books. Right, so this is just a quick check. This is the back check. I can turn on faster. All right. Okay.
I don't know if I put this on there. Maybe. This is So Far Away, and it's a Avenged Sevenfold. And my kids were taken from me when I was like, I don't know, they were little. So 2016. So I always play this song for them. All right, here we go. Sorry, memory problems. Not 2016, 2006.
Never being for anything, never shame but never free. Alive to heal the broken heart with all that it gives. Live the life so endlessly, saw beyond what others see. I tried to heal your broken heart with all that I could. Will you stay? Will you stay away forever? I live without the ones I know. Time still turns the pages of the book gets burned. Wasting time, always on my mind. I have so much to say, but you're so far away. As I put our futures home, foolish lies are growing old. It seems we're so invincible, the truth is so cold. A final song, the last request, a perfect chapter laid to rest. Now and then I try to find a place in my mind where you can stay away forever. I
Two.
I haven't played this song for a little bit, so hopefully you do care. This is a song I've loved forever. I grew up on grunge music mostly. And it's 80s girl, 80s, 90s girl. So this is a Alice in Chains song. And it's called Don't Follow. And kind of fits my mood because I just quit my job and don't know what's going to happen next. We've been on the wing in a prayer. Like literally. Alright, so here we go.
That's me on the trombone. Okay, no, it's not.
All right. No, it's all good. Give it up for Amiella! Woo! See, I would love to do something like that, but mellophones aren't pretty and delicate.
No, they're loud and annoying.
They're like marching French horns. It has one volume, loud. And I have lung power, so it's extra loud. Okay, so, but yes, thank you, Amiella. Always beautiful.
Yes, agreed.
And I assume that was her arrangement as well. Was it?
My version, yeah, my.
The flute part.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, she arranges all the flute parts over the music.
It's gorgeous. All right, lost in thought. What are you thinking?
What am I not thinking?
I don't know.
Do you even know how to think?
Well, see, no.
I just need
When
to
he
analyze.
goes, you know what that reminds me of? That's when you have to like bow out and go get a shot.
It's usually going to be a Golden Girls episode or something like that.
Oh, that just reminded me. Thank you, Ernie B. That just reminded me because I was Lane gave me his latest Golden Girl quote, and I was like, okay, if I was a Golden Girl, who would I be most like? And he was like, I think Sophia. I was like, really? He said, I always thought I'd be like Dorothy, you know, kind of big, tough, you know, sort of. He's like, no, you've got that spicy, sarcastic sense of humor. I was like, I can deal with that.
And if anybody would know the Golden Girls, it would be Lane.
Really?
Do you still have those Golden Girls mints I got you? Okay.
I'm too old to remember.
There were Golden Girls mints at $5 Below.
He has a Golden Girls t-shirt.
I think so. I think you're right.
He's the real
Did you
deal.
buy the Golden Girls sticker or something too?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Anytime I see anything Golden Girls, I just send it his way. All right, lost in thought. Who's coming up next?
So, da.
Wait a minute. Wait. Is it the president or the beat?
So that's the president.
I know, but I mean, you could use that to bring up either one.
True. Okay.
Nice.
It's Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
We're still trying to locate his
We're
still trying to locate his campaign manager. He's been
I
missing in action for the
know.
last
Birdman.
ran off with all the funds.
I tell you, he probably took off and made thongs and put his face on it,
I know he's been making videos lately.
which would be it's kind of scary when you think about it. Can you imagine everybody running around in Birdman thongs?
No.
I think I just flipped Rayla's stomach right there. She was just like, that's disturbing.
What about Big Bird thumbs?
Yeah, this is just.
What'd she say?
Well, she said people might not know the context of the Birdman thongs.
Oh, well, yeah,
Well,
well,
let me give the quick Reader's Digest version. Birdman is a high-class merch guy. He sells himself very well. So Ernie B said he should put his face on a blimp.
not his face, but like his name, like have one of those remote controlled blimps that they used to fly around in the shopping malls with the electric sign on the side.
Yeah.
Because he had so much merch. He had like T-shirts, koozies, coasters.
He's got like books on Kindle.
Yeah, so like you might as well have a blimp, a little blimp sign around.
And I told him he should just stick with thongs, put Birdman right here. And anyway,
Birdman or his face?
Bird is the word. Huh? Well, either one.
And see, and we're supposed to be introducing somebody else, and here we are talking about
Yeah, we're
Birdman.
talking-
And he's not even.
And
He's not
talking
even,
about Birdman on somebody's underwear.
and he hasn't even been on the show for like, what,
Months?
3 months or something?
Remind me to smack him next time I see him, if I can reach him.
That'd be really
I couldn't reach him, I'm too short. All right, lost of thought. Introduce our next poet before I go off on another tangent.
Let's hear from Mr. President himself, Reggie Goodwin.
Goodwin 2024.
Please direct your attention to the monitor behind the bar. Reggie Goodwin will show up momentarily as it is on a 30-second delay. Take it away, Rick.
Shut up already. Damn. Let me get this poetic pimp slap house party quake started. All honors to the artist formerly known as, then reknown as Prince. Since his transition, may he forever be known as this as he rests in peace and power. Rob Reiner in a tweet said Kanye West is a mentally ill anti-Semite. Herschel Walker is a moronic liar. Dumbo Gambino, my name for him, is a fascist criminal. I modified this last point also. Coach Tuberville is a two-faced racist. In a literal nutshell, today's Republican Party that couldn't give a tinker's damn about Republican governance. Tommy Tuberville, shut up already. Damn. Quote, some people say that they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparations because they think the people who do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. Yeah. What you just said, Tommy, is utterly that. You're senator because you beat Doug Jones, a man who brought the last two domestic terrorists who bombed the 16th Street Baptist Church to justice. You were just slightly better than Chester the child molester, Roy Moore. In today's GOP, he might beat you in a MAGA primary. Your party used to hate the label deplorable. You winced at the suggestion white supremacists might be in your midst. Now you seem all in for it. You spent 30 years as a football coach for the University of Alabama. You and Mac Brown at the University of Texas making more money than any adjunct or tenured professors, going into black people's houses, lying to future prospects' parents. Don't worry, I'll take care of him like he was my own son. I'm sure you said something to that effect. Now we know you were an overseer of a modern day plantation. Plantation oligarchs used to make enslaved people compete in games and bet on their athletic performances. Now they're called university presidents, sports leagues, and team owners. Colleges are just sports franchises with academic side hustles. You and your university owe reparations to the families who put their lots on football scholarships. That was no different than putting themselves willingly on the auction block. Maybe some of them would go pro. 0.03% of high school athletes, most would not. The ones that make it against statistical odds favoring better being struck by lightning will have to deal with traumatic brain injury, broken bones, torn ligaments, the second law of thermodynamics wreaking havoc on their aging bodies for the modern day equivalent of gladiators in the ancient Roman Colosseum minus marauding lions. Reparations, now making amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. The Israelites did as Moses instructed and asked the Egyptians for articles of silver and gold and clothing articles, Exodus 12:35. In other words, reparations for 400 years of enslavement until Pharaoh said, what the, and launched chariots against them at the Sea of Reeds to get back their mineral booty, because then and now reparations will unravel the entire fabric of Egyptian and Western civilization, the jewelry in the United Kingdom, the artistry in the Louvre, the stolen artifacts in worldwide museums. They would have to be returned to their rightful owners. The real estate stolen from indigenous peoples, given back, deindustrialized, and depopulated by colonizers. The earth and Gaia bear witness. This imbalance is killing us. Climate change, superstorms. Every other week we navel gaze at them like American gun massacres, thoughts and prayers without repentant actions. We nor your former players want crime, just fairness, because the novelty of morbidity wealthy people has outlived its existence and usefulness if it ever was. Call me when the Forbes 400 list of the wealthiest billionaire narcissists makes the FBI's most wanted. Jeff Bezos, what purpose is it of owning Amazon, throwing a dick rocket into orbit for 10 minutes, buying a $10 billion yacht and a $500 million spare for one for the helicopter, then whining about paying taxes that you owe? Tommy Tuberville, shut up already. Damn, the criminals who stole it from us are the ones whining about reparations in the first place.
Okay, get used to this. Mr. President, President Goodwin, Mr. President. Goodwin 2024, Reggie Goodwin!
You know that I did tell you last time that was Sam Donaldson who originally started that whole Mr. President, Mr. President, and that became a thing.
Yes.
He was the first reporter to do that, you know.
To not just sit quiet.
Yeah, or raise their hand. He'd get in his face, Mr. President, Mr. President.
And which president did he start that with?
Ford, I think. President Ford, maybe. I can't remember.
Wow, Sam Donaldson was working that far back?
Yeah, he's a legend. He's still around.
Yes, he is.
He makes appearances every once in a while on the news, like, to give his opinion and stuff.
And was it him or was it Peter Jennings that would like hunt and peck on their typing?
Peter Jennings, yeah, he would hunt and peck.
I'm thinking
But
about
he
these
passed
guys
away.
going, F, you.
And he would type out his own reports too, but he would just hunt and peck.
It really helps to be able to touch
You
type.
mean like?
Well, I mean, he couldn't type. You know, he would just do it one letter at a time.
Okay, Lane, can you touch type? Like,
I
can
can touch
you
type.
like look at me and then type
Mhm.
something up?
Yep.
Okay. Peter
Learned that in
Jennings.
high school.
Peter Jennings couldn't do that.
Yet he couldn't do that. Yet he would still deliver the national news every night.
You know, I had a dream with Peter Jennings once. Peter Jennings and Eddie Murphy. And
That was the weirdest threesome he ever had.
We're not responsible for this content that's about to.
What was it, a threesome?
no, I think Peter Jennings started off. He was in a talk show and he was in drag.
Peter
Then-
Jennings in drag.
Yes. And
How
then
dare you? I'm kidding, go
and
ahead.
then Eddie Murphy came on. He was the first guest.
Of course he would.
And he was asking Eddie Murphy when he was going to work with Dean Martin again. And Eddie Murphy was like, I don't want to talk about that, man. And that's all I remember from the dream. I don't want to talk about that, man.
That's
Oh my God, you
bizarre.
dream about sex. That's just weird. Okay. And I thought my dream about having sex with a rock was weird. Yeah, that was a little
I guess you
weird.
could smell what Rock was cooking, huh?
Those of you,
It didn't turn me on at all.
Jonathan and Reggie and Shane, I think Shane's still there. They probably have a chance to do another piece.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
they
later,
will.
Oh,
yeah.
yes,
They will,
so
absolutely.
So if you guys want to stick around.
We've got
Yeah, if you want to be a sequel, stick around.
we've got time.
Wait, hold on, wait. What was that, Reggie?
Yeah, Shane just logged off. He said he has something to do, and I'm going to go start salmon.
You can start what?
Salmon.
I'm going to start salmon for dinner.
Oh,
Yum.
oh, yeah, that's right. It's later. He's in North Carolina, by the way, folks. So it's a little later over there. So yeah.
Don't forget to save us some.
No. If you want to save me a piece of salmon, don't cook it.
Email it.
I'm half seal.
And is Jonathan still there? Or is he frozen?
Jonathan left earlier, so
Okay,
I'm going to have it on in the
Yeah,
background, and I'll be listening to the show.
Yeah, it's funny because every time Jonathan logs off, for some reason his image just stays there frozen, and I think he's still there. Yeah, no, I can still see him, but he's not moving. He's
He's
just
frozen in action. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's listening.
But, okay, so you're still gonna listen to the show, but you're gonna get dinner going.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
All
Well,
right. So
Okay, so virtual people are off the table. Yes.
yeah,
So-
they're gone. They're gone.
so if anyone, so we only have a
Anyone?
few more people left.
Well, Reggie's still listening, but he's gonna get busy making dinner, making some salmon.
Yes. So we only have a few more people. So if anyone does want to come up again,
You could be a sequel of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Lost of that. Who's coming up
well,
next?
we couldn't have arranged this any better
Really?
because we had Mr. President speaking. Now get ready for his vice president.
The Veep-elect.
Yes. Let's hear it for Ryan Widener.
Sprayer, stocking sprayer.
Suicide is one of the heaviest buzzwords in the English language, and yet it has shown up as the most dramatic of events in plays and stories for millennia. In modern culture, we grieve for celebrities lost to the traumas and pressures of abusive and exploitative industries. And for the longest time, I felt like suicide was a concept far disconnected from me, an ordinary person living an ordinary life. It's as if I kept telling myself, I wouldn't do that, or I don't have it that bad. But in a country that thrives off the comparison Olympics, we continue to undermine the very real pain and the very real trauma that can be experienced by anyone, regardless of fame or notoriety, with no exception based on any form of identity or predilection. Humans suffer. We struggle to understand our inner lives, and perhaps our greatest challenge is to somehow translate our insights so that they might be understood by others. And I understand now, upon reading texts I sent and poems I wrote, just how badly this distant self of mine was calling, begging for help. At the time, I thought it was all to do with my overwhelm from work and grad school, combined with the trauma of having spent almost 2 years in the throes of a deadly pandemic, amidst blistering socio-political developments and a never-ending, unprecedented stream of events. I was exhausted, and I think we all were. The challenges and the traumas associated with the COVID-19 pandemic undeniably exacerbated mental health struggles, and levels of anxiety, depression, PTSD, and suicidal ideation catapulted across the globe. I felt this pain too, and there are parts of it which I am still attempting to heal. But my story had another component, one from which I was desperate to hide, because no one wants to admit that they are deeply entrenched in an abusive relationship that is accelerating out of control. 1 year ago, I felt so worthless, so problematic, and so unlovable that I felt like it would be better for everyone if I just wasn't here. I was so out of it that I couldn't even process how much it would hurt everyone around me, including my dog, who loves me deeply and would have never understood. So if gratitude for still being here is my yang, then guilt for having almost extinguished my light is my yin. And I think about both of these ideas every day. I have spent the past year putting the pieces together, trying to understand what exactly happened, how I could sink so low as to want to leave this world behind. And I have torn myself up for having almost succeeded. I don't think I wanted to die exactly. I think I wanted the pain to stop. And the only way I knew how to make it stop was, I think you get the point. I understand a lot more now than did the Ryan of 1 year ago. And though I still feel the guilt for having attempted to permanently escape from the pain, I empathize with the deep feelings of betrayal and strikes by someone I respected, trusted, and loved, perhaps more than I felt those emotions for myself. Even so, I take responsibility for my action. I do not blame another person for the choice which I made. Nonetheless, my reality was a whirlwind of confusing and painful thoughts and anxieties. While someone is struggling with suicidal thoughts, the most rational and helpful thoughts and actions can seem like the most painfully distant options. I believe that the human mind is one of the most delicate aspects of life on Earth. And when you feel like you can't trust yourself, it is very, very difficult to trust another person. When you feel like you have fucked up so much that you don't see a chance for redemption, your mind can convince you that anything you do is futile. You can lose all sight of reality, your essence, your worth. And while you are being gaslit by someone you trust, you can begin to gaslight yourself into believing that you deserve to be abused. I don't think we talk about this enough. Emotional and psychological abuse are no less damaging than physical and sexual abuse. Abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse. We don't need to keep playing the comparison Olympics. We don't need to keep demanding people to compete with one another, to convince themselves that they have it worse than another person and are therefore deserving of love, support, patience, and protection. We all hurt. We all deserve to feel protected. I have spent the past year coming to terms with reality, accepting my goodness and my trespasses, healing the parts that broke, and embracing all the sources of my light which I had left in the darkness. I've spent so much time in the dark, nursing my wounds and feeling the pain of all that has happened, all that was stolen from me. I think that I found safety in such a dark place, but I don't want to be there anymore. I now feel better acknowledging the pain and letting it go, making room for the future and growth, new sparks to keep my reignited light going. You literally cannot put enough love into this world. Above everything, Love is what this world needs more of right now. And I thank the cosmos every day that I was not successful in ending my life. I am only one of 8 billion humans. My story is one of so many, but I don't think it's particularly unique. And there are 2 things to keep in mind. First, anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts can happen to anyone. And second, no one deserves to be your emotional punching bag. We are all human. We all face struggles and traumas, pains and challenges to our willpower and desire to live. No human is immune from wrestling with their demons and fighting to survive. And no human is immune from being abused by people whom they trust. Feeling depressed or suicidal is not a sign of weakness. We are vulnerable, and our minds and our hearts can only handle so much pain at once. So please remember that there is still hope. There is always hope. But I speak from experience when I say that feeling that hope is often an impossible task while battling such painful thoughts as those about ending your own life. People don't magically bounce back after being told to have hope or that it gets better. And relying on these phrases can make someone feel dismissed. Instead, be there with someone. Help them to feel loved, supported, and protected. Take their hand and guide them to the best of your ability and emotional capacity while they feel too broken to find the strength to walk on their own. I think we all want to know that we are not alone. The human experience is truly challenging, and we can all benefit from reminders that we are not alone. 1 year ago, I almost ended my story, but I am grateful to be writing new chapters. So go out and put more love into this world, starting with loving yourself. Always.
Woo! Woo!
All right, give it up for Ryan Widener. Woo!
I was giving Ryan his props.
But you need to be faster.
Well, Reggie said that brought tears to his eyes.
Hmm?
Reggie said that brought tears to his eyes.
See, that's the thing about coming to this community. I love it because you can bare your soul. And Ryan is not wrong. We've all struggled. We've all had that struggle. You know, let me see. When I lost my son 18 years ago, the only thing that kept me on this planet was the son I already had, because I was like, you know what, I can't do that to him, no. And then going through my divorce, holy shit, that put me through the ringer. Yeah, that kind of got me, okay, I'm already starting to, I don't even want to think about it. That was a very dark place for me, it's not good. And I am grateful for this community, so we can all talk about this, and we can spend the rest of the week kind of like, I'm not alone. That's me.
It does make me think about something, but I wrote a poem about it, so maybe I'll...
Want to hear it? Here you go.
No, I'm not going to read it now.
No.
And that actually reminded me, I had a migraine on Wednesday, and right when, well, not about the migraine. When I was coming out from under, I just sat down and I just started writing till my hand cramped up. See, I'm old school, like pen and paper. And I texted Lane, I was like, little brother, guess what? I wrote something. He's like, wow, what was the trigger? I was like, my migraine. He's like, well, I don't wish the migraine, but good job. All right, lost in thought. Who's coming up?
Well, it also does make me think of my dear departed friend Darnell, who I still miss to this day. He said,
awesome.
yeah, he said of suicide that it's a temporary solution to a permanent. It's a temporary.
It's a permanent solution.
It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. There we go.
Yeah. Yep.
There you
go. Boobly.
And every day is a gift. Thanks, Ernie.
Michael Boobly. I like saying buble.
That's like Pee-wee's, well, what Pee-wee's Playhouse, the word of the day.
Ah!
Okay, please, Lane, please bring up the next performer, please.
I miss Pee-wee's Playhouse. So, coming up next,
Coming up.
let's hear it for Vince.
Woo! And don't forget to get something delicious from the bar, something buzzworthy. There are drinks to be had, and some muffins, and sandwiches, and slices of cake.
Right there.
Good?
Yeah, I muted it. Buble.
Does that mean bubbly?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else right now. My brain's too. I've had a long
Does that
month.
mean bubbly in French?
with that.
Like that song. You got me buble.
Chirp, chirp.
What are you looking for? What are you looking
You get a guitar stick already?
I got your voice.
for your case? Maybe it's in the stage. Flute case? Yeah. Our show will find it.
Don't worry, we'll fix it in post. There it is.
In post-production. All right, I thought that was gonna be a quick set. Right. So this is a City and Color cover, right? That I used to mess around with. It's called As Much as I Ever Could.
Makes sense when I get it.
Love of mine, won't you live by my side?
Alright, so this next one is a song everyone's heard 1,000 times. It's a Leonard Cohen song that was covered by a guy, then covered by a guy, then covered by a guy.
I thought he was gonna do Stairway to Heaven. That's the only other song that's played more than any of them.
It's called Hallelujah.
Leonard Cohen's version of Stairway to Heaven. Go.
I wish you were taller, Lane. Because then I could adjust, I wouldn't have to adjust this mic when I walk out. Chord that's easy to play to please the Lord, but you don't really care for music too young. It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composed it. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throne. She cut your hair. And from your lips she drew hallelujah, hallelujah,
Thank you, guys.
Should I do my fast and then back in the world? And then do the flute piano song? She was easier to find pianos places. You might as well have to do it on guitar.
Gertie, do a PSA.
You know, I think you're mistaken. I've never heard that song before.
Really?
Ever. Did you write that?
Gertie, you're a liar.
Oh, hold on, Nate. Sorry. Go ahead.
Give it up for Vince.
I was loving those high notes, man. Wicked. All right, loss of thought. Who are we looking at next?
Well, actually, I was sitting there watching Vince sing, and it was like this magical moment, though. It just felt like a scene out of an emotional drama. And, like,
And I wasn't thinking at all about Shrek. No, not at all. Not at all. That's kind of like, oh, Barbara Seville, you learned that watching Bugs Bunny. Well, yes, I did, but then I bought the album and I continued to listen to it without Elmer Fudd on it.
I have all the Warner Brothers songs. You know, all the original ones that have been remastered and restored, and the ones that couldn't get restored were re-recorded with a new symphony on CD.
Nice.
I got those.
Isn't that the What's Opera Now?
Is that the name of it?
No, it's just called Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, or something like that. I can't remember the name of the CD, but it has everything. It's on there. And in fact, I was reading the liner notes, and I can't remember what year it was. It was a long time ago. And they actually took that production on the road with a real symphony, where you could go and they would play the cartoons on the big screen, but with a live orchestra.
Kind of like the video game thing you do here, but with an orchestra.
But with the orchestra, yeah, but it had already happened by the time the CD was released. And I was like, oh man, I would have loved to have seen that. Of course,
That would have been cool.
it probably would have only been like one night in Dallas, you know, and then the second night.
Not even Dallas, probably New York City or something.
Well, they toured America, but there was probably just a handful of dates, you know. But that would have been pretty cool to watch.
Rufus. All right, and don't forget about the drink specials. Mixed Wells, how much?
$4.25.
He wins a gold star if I had one. Yes, $4.25 Mixed Wells. Get your deliciousness and your booze at the same time. If you're feeling a little sleepy, I totally recommend the Ernie B Power Up Shot. Everyone's like, no, not really. No.
I haven't even had one yet today.
but maybe feeling a little crazy, you do the.
Or if you want to get locked up in jail tonight, go and get the Lost and Thought Brain Blender. It's got 4 liqueurs in it.
Damn.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Take 2 sips and you'll start acting lost in thought.
You know, I've seen like 2 or maybe even 3 cars that have pulled up and parked here. Like, some people go to the anime store next door, but they'll pull up and nobody will get out, and they sit there for like 5 minutes and then they leave, and nobody gets out of the car.
They're hotboxing, dude.
No, well,
They ate too many gummies.
I swear I've seen like 2 or 3 cars do that already. It's
like, holy shit, traffic lights.
And you know what? Yesterday, last night, I noticed that about people too. They come and they park and they get out, because from here I can see the door. And they'd walk in, they open the door and they'd look in, and then they would just leave, turn around, get in their car and leave. Like, it's like, I think I want some coffee, and they open the door and like, no, maybe I don't want coffee. And they go home.
Okay.
I mean, you're like literally like 10 steps away from getting coffee. I don't get it.
Okay, Lost and Thought.
I want to know why.
Lost and Thought, let's bring up the next performer before Amy goes over the
Coming
agenda.
up
Why do people do that?
So coming up next.
I don't understand.
It's been a wonderful crowd tonight, full of immensely talented people, and this next
Mentally
person,
talented?
immensely talented.
Oh.
Mentally challenged?
Anyway, this,
Hey, it's free. It's free entertainment, guys. Come on.
we're all a little touched.
Absolutely.
So, but full of like very talented people. This next person is
Always.
she's mystical. She is deep, and she's always leaves a great impression. Let's hear it for Rayla.
Rayla.
So we were telling animal stories earlier, so I thought I would tell a story about the one and only time I tried to steal something when I was a kid. So when I was growing up, I was on a 40-acre ranch and had like 30 plus cats, 10 pit bulls, just a whole plethora of animals. But my personal favorite was a lizard named Pepe, and I used to feed him carnitas whenever I would get Mexican food or white cat food. And one day, me and my mom went to the pet shop, and I saw this whole, it was like a sandbox set on top of a table, and it had like 50 lizards in it. And there was no lid to it. And I was like, I think I'm gonna get my lizard a friend, or 5. And so I looked around, and I ended up getting 3 lizards in each hand and stuffing them in my pockets. And then I casually strolled to the door. I really thought I was gonna get away with it. But I was stopped by the pet store owner because it turned out I had 3 lizard tails sticking out of each pocket. So, not a successful attempt on my part, and to this day, I still regret it because I would have loved to give my lizard many more friends.
Did you get in trouble?
Did I? I don't remember actually. I probably did, but I probably didn't care also. So. I don't know. But that was short. Can I read something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, hold on. Please hold. Is that hold music?
You know
I was waiting to hear the story of how the cops dragged her away in handcuffs.
Hi, I'm Rayla's hold music.
I made a muffin wrap.
Dear
A
God.
muffin wrap in high school.
Oh, the
I've done
Jeopardy
it for
music.
10 years.
Actually, this is also about animals.
It's all about muffins.
Technically. I've been writing a novel, and this is a passage I wanted to read from it. Not one guest would think that the person who prepared the room for their arrival had studied both feng shui and interior design, but they would believe it after seeing the towel animals. Because even though it was just layers of terry cloth folded, rolled, and tied to look like an animal, and even though the layout of all the rooms on the ship was basically the same, there was something that differentiated Jane Colosowitz's towel animals from everyone else's. For one, the housekeeping staff placed the towels at the edge of the bed, front and center, their fluffy faces eagerly awaiting the next guest's excited squeals. Meanwhile, Jane's towel monkey hung from a towel vine hooked on the ceiling fan, or a towel snake curled slyly around the coat rack with hangers on its body like Christmas ornaments, or a towel elephant balanced on the bathroom sink with a tiny wrapped bar soap held on high in its trunk. Jane had always done things a little differently. She knew how to shine up old objects and place them around the ship in a way that simply wowed the guests. She also knew that it wasn't the objects themselves or the artistic display she created that captured everyone's interest, so much as the idea that they were out of place. Because whoever heard of an elephant in a bathroom or a monkey hanging from the ceiling fan at someone's house? But people knew of little towel animals on cruises set up on the bed, a fun little extra like a chocolate on the pillow, and because they knew it existed before, it became just another thing adults had seen before. Jane wanted the delight of a child seeing something for the first time in their life, so she used this tidbit of psychological information, applying it to every task that she could. Gathering the stale and cast aside bits and pieces from ordinary life, she created magical moments. She called it the "this doesn't belong here" effect, and she used it to delight the guests. At first, she had painstakingly set up towel animals all over the ship, testing the limits of people's suspension of disbelief, the amount of joy versus the annoyance at dismantling it. She had figured out early on that a hippo reading the newspaper on the toilet, although funny, rendered the towel useless and the guests slightly on edge about germs for the remainder of the trip. One would think Jane's extraordinary ingenuity and creativity was a perfect match for the job, that she had truly outdone herself in the name of top-tier customer service. Only when she came face to face with a guest would her true motives begin to show through. She came to realize quickly that if she were in the room, she suddenly became the one who didn't belong. She could create and place objects all day long and receive praise and smiles and laughter and approval, but the second a human face was in its place, that's when the magic seemed to disappear. All people saw was a quirky beanpole of a woman before them, trying too hard to charm them. Like eagerly watching someone's reaction to a movie they'd already seen, they felt the underlying need to all her magic tricks and gave her strange smiles as they quickened their pace to the buffet table. And that's all I have to
Let's hear it for Rayla.
Rayla, always classy, Rayla, yes.
Hey, I didn't do that. It did it on its own.
But the
Possessed.
way she read that story sucked me in. I want to know more.
I'm still freaking out about the lizards.
Well, I want to know more about the two. But
So did he make you give you back? He or she make you get the lizards back?
Yeah.
Did they scold you, or they said never come back to my store again, or anything, Beth?
You know, if I were the pet shop owner, I would have thought it was funny, but I don't remember. I'd like to think I entertained them.
Yeah.
I remember when I was
How old were you when that happened?
Maybe like 6.
Oh, you're just a kid.
17.
Should I try it again? I should try it again when I'm at this
Oh, okay. Well, you probably didn't get in trouble then.
What? No.
No.
I can talk my way out of it, I think.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in junior high, I went into 7-Eleven with a hoodie, with the pocket right here. This was way before cameras.
And a gun.
And I treated myself to a handful of penny chocolate.
Penny chocolate?
Yeah, you know the single ones that like the footballs and the kisses and all those that are wrapped in foil?
I think it's before my time.
Yeah, you might be. It might be.
Remember those little wax milk bottles with the liquid inside?
Yeah, you
I've
chew
seen
the
those.
wax.
Remember those? That wasn't candy. That was a glucose tolerance test. Pretty much.
You're not wrong. And then I chew the wax until my mom would get annoyed. All right, lost in thought. Who's coming up next?
you know, it just makes me think of the time I walked into a store and bought candy. That's it. All right, so.
We used to have a little candy store like by my junior high up in Illinois, and the guy had like, it was like in a house, but he turned it into a store.
Ooh.
That's what they call pedophiles now.
No, it was, you know, and you know he had he'd get candies from behind the counter, and he had like 1 or 2 video games. I mean, they're very primitive video games. This was like, again in the '70s, but the kids used to go. We used to hang out there after school and stuff. Everybody go down there and hang out, buy candy, chocolates.
It so looks like.
All right, lost in thought. Who's coming up next?
Before I bring up this next person, so he's the final person on our list. So if anyone wants to come up again,
Egyptian cats.
welcome to.
It's Egyptian
Just
cats.
wait for Lost in Thought to leave the stage before you assault him and go, I want to get on the list
Now
again!
we have to explain chickens.
Just wait for him to leave the
Egyptian
stage
chickens.
first.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to leave the stage now.
Chickens and dragons, chickens and dragons both laid eggs.
Okay, who's coming up next?
Because I think
Look at
dragons
you,
were
vultures.
reptiles.
So good.
Just like this. I'm just
What a
guessing.
way to conclude a first set.
Chickens are goofy, but
The
they can also be
perfect
evil.
person to do
It's the
so.
perfect combination.
Let's hear it for Andrew Wardeman.
They fly a little better than chickens. a spectrum.
Okay, so, hi.
It is a spectrum.
If it can fly for 30 seconds or less,
What?
it still counts.
Oh no, I
They
should.
do this little floppy flap and then.
That's a jump.
You know what's very funny is that I never just plow through material at all. So I just wait for people to stop. Like this is like a defense mechanism that I have grown at loud bar shows, and I realize that this is not a comedy club. There are I've talked to somebody's pouring their heart out and they're reading and they're like, and then I whisper to other people. And then I am the asshole that's like, pay attention because there might be punchlines. And I'm not everything's going, you get to know my thoughts right now. This is all new shit. Mostly new shit. I love that. Thank you. And also, I love this open mic because people pour their hearts out and are very vulnerable, and I'm sitting there and I'm taking it in, and I'm sitting right there and I'm thinking to myself, that kind of looks like a penis. You know, I'm feeling it, like people are getting teary, I'm crying, and I'm just like, is it a wreck? Does it go down? Like, is it like, kind of like...
Okay, I see what you're saying now. I get it too, yeah.
You know, see something, say something. You're welcome. Welcome to my brain. Look, I'm not good at taking in heavy stuff. I am the kid that laughs at funerals. I went to the 9/11 museum because I thought it was a good art installation. I know. Look how uncomfortable you guys are.
That was good.
It just begun. It's it is an empire in there because there's people that have to clean that place. They have to clean it so well. It's well manufactured. There's 50, 100 staff or so. You go in and you have to get. It's kind of like going to an airport security. Literally, you get you do the metal detectors and stuff, and the people there are, they're underworked. I think they're forming a union, but they can't complain about it because they work at the 9/11 museum. And we think it's charity, but they're making money. You understand? They're making money off of somebody's tragedy, and I'm kind of finding this hysterical. There are people who have risked their lives as the planes are in the tower. They are risking their lives just to get the right angle. And then they have to get rejected because there's only 1 or 2 images there, and they're not doing it for free. They have to talk to Linda. I'm just making her name up, but they have to talk to Linda to make sure that it's publishable and that it's copyright. And every person that made memorial into that museum, they have to talk to somebody. We'll call her Linda, that has to negotiate this. And then there is a gift shop there, and it's so expensive. Also, I paid $25 to enter there. To make sad. There's a gift shop at the 9/11 museum, and my favorite book there is called. It's a children's book, by the way. It's called A Christmas Miracle at Ground Zero. That is a real book. And it's about a mice who sees workers on Ground Zero, and they're working really, really hard. They're trying to discover, I think, dead bodies, but I don't know what euphemism they said for the children's book. But they were very sad, not about the dead bodies, but about that these
that these firefighters, they couldn't celebrate Christmas. So they gave the firefighters Christmas. And this book is $29.99. And it's a legitimate book. I'll show you the picture. Like, I'll post it on Instagram. I read it right there. You know, it was a simple read, and maybe took me like 5 minutes. You know, it was more expensive than the 9/11 report, because I like my lies very much concise and with pictures. The 9/11 report is so thick, and it's redacted. But we're supposed to feel patriotic, but there's people that couldn't afford to get inside the museum. What I'm saying is, it's fucked up. Like, I don't know the problem for it, but I know that there are people who will look at a tragedy and try to make money off of it. There are people, we know these people, and it's awkward, because I don't know that much about Columbine. I know that it happened. But if there was a movie directed by Catherine Bigelow, I'm gonna be there opening night. That's a deep cut. She also directed a couple of war movies. She's amazing, but also like living off of the tragedy. Like there are people in the concentration camps that were like, this is awful. This is hell. I've never experienced anything like this. But if I get out, I have an idea to make money. Sure. And there's at least one person that's like, yeah, I lost my daughter, but I bet there's a book there. Okay. I know you're not ready for it. And maybe I'm not presenting this because it's like deep and dark, and it's like, hidden. Okay, never mind. That's a weird rant. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I should have middled that. And now, how do I transition to that and saying I'm in a closeted relationship with my roommate? We're in a heterosexual relationship. I know there's no transition here. I'm in a heterosexual relationship with my gay roommate. No hetero, just she. But it is hetero. Well, look, we have a sexless marriage. Like, we are in a sexless relationship. We talk about our feelings. Like, we were not getting along for a couple of weeks, and so she did the perfect female thing, which was adopt a cat. Love this cat, by the way. It helped our relationship, but then we had a fight about how we should raise this cat. And what sucks is that she wanted this princess name for this cat. The cat also control issues. This woman has control issues. Oh, but anyway, like we're at the Austin's Pet Alive, and the cat's named Baz. Baz, female named Baz. I'm like, we just keep it with Baz. That's a good director. Well, fuck it, Baz, or whatever, like Baz. But no, she's like, well, no, let's call her whatever princess.
Fiona.
She ended up calling her Phoebe. But then, so it's Phoebe now. This thing is Phoebe.
Yay.
Except, my roommate saw her balls. He was misgendering this cat. We're pretending to be in a heterosexual relationship, and even the fucking cat is living a lie.
That's awesome.
We need to go date, but we're taking up all of our angst and emotional on each other. Like, we don't have, and I say we don't have sex, we just pretend that we don't hear each other masturbate. Like, I mean, she hasn't mentioned it to me, and I haven't mentioned it to her, but one time I'm like, I just heard buzzing, and I'm like, did a fly get in here?
That's amazing.
I should have opened up with that.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye.
Let's hear it for Andrew Waterman. I love.
Thank you, Andrew.
I love Catherine Bigelow.
Oh, I was gonna say, hi Vince. I was gonna say, Andrew, tell your roommate to get a USB rechargeable vibrator. They buzz less. They do.
Although your story.
Give them a silent drive.
It's a rabbit. It's pink and white, and it's got a USB charge cord. It's pretty cool.
Although your story about naming the cat princess did make me think of a movie. What is it? Kate Hudson, Matthew McConaughey.
Isn't that Failure to Launch?
Well, the movie pretty much was. Yes.
No, but that's the name of the movie.
But it was a movie that I hated. But it was called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was trying to get the guy to not like her.
Okay.
And she would, when they were making out, she would say, like, "Does Princess Penis want to come out and play?" It's like, don't call me. What? Sophia, yes.
Clint the Poet's been watching on YouTube.
Hey, Clint.
Says, love the show. He goes, Andrew, so funny. He said, sorry you missed it, but he has some things to do.
Okay, Ernie.
He had some business to attend to.
Oh, Clint, thank you for showing me how to hold a knife properly if I want to attack somebody.
A little bit like a
And we were talking about that last night. I was like, he was showing me all the different ways to hold it. It was pretty
I'm
cool.
gonna write that in my comment. Hey,
Oh, Ernie, let me ask you, as a red-blooded hetero male, would you like it if I gave your dick a delicate name?
A delicate name?
Yeah, you want, if I call it Fiona or something?
Well, I don't think women are the ones that name
he was a stray.
the junk. It's the guys that give their junk
His name
names.
is Monte Carlo.
Okay, but
But
so
no,
that's not.
but no, and I don't name it.
Is that an indication?
But no, I wouldn't want my junk name
Be called Fiona.
Fiona.
Okay.
No, that wouldn't be appropriate.
Well,
Uh,
you can call
he's
him
the
Neville
king of
Longbottom.
Minneapolis now.
What? Call it what?
I just thought of that right now. Neville Longbottom from the Harry Potter.
Well, the actor turned out to be hot.
Yes,
so.
that's why I was going in that direction. But the fact that the last name is funny.
I've
Neville
never seen any of the Harry Potter.
I mean, I know who Neville Longbottom is only because of the actor.
My new favorite.
The actor is fine. Yeah.
Can you imagine us being in the hill and I'm like,
Okay, stop. I'm gonna piss. Stop.
That was Mary's
Hills
favorite.
and eyes.
Ernie, your junk is now Neville
Mary
Longbottom.
was
No,
always
it's
happy
not.
on the Lamb Hill.
Okay, it's about. Oh, seriously.
Okay, then this could be Neville Longbottom. How about that?
No, but see now that I would have never noticed in a million years, and now I can't unsee it.
Fun guy.
I didn't know what he was talking about at first. He thought the overhead microphone looks like a penis sticking out of the.
Jesus. Wait, cut it out. Quit living out your fantasies on the audio.
And that microphone is there, guys, because when I have a drum set there, it's the microphone that picks up the cymbals.
Yeah, sure.
That's why it's called an overhead microphone. But I never in a million years would have thought it looked like a penis sticking out of that anime character up there.
Now you did.
I get it.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that.
All right, Lost in Thought. Do we have any sequels?
No one has come up to me and said they want to.
Okay, well then.
Oh, wait, what? We got one sequel at least.
Do we have we do have a sequel? Bring them up.
Yes. And I would love to hear her again. Let's hear it for Rayla.
Woo-hoo!
I wasn't ready.
Oh.
But I mean, like, nobody else is up here to learn Ringo as well. I don't know, I kind of want to read bullshit.
Just
bullshit.
Yes. Let's make them all bullshit. Maybe some, like, angsty shit, too.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's do some angsty shit.
Angsty shit.
I'm reading about the aftermath of a woman's rape over dinner. I can do this like I can drive past roadkill without flinching, because it's commonplace, part of the landscape. She writes that the worst violence her rapist committed was not against her body, but against the story she told about the person she believed herself to be. As I chew my prosciutto, I understand through the salt that it too is flesh without a voice, that the only thing separating us is man's decision not to slaughter and gut us, at least not in the same ways. I want to forget all the ways we allow violence to happen, how we order it up, create the demand, the moral dilemma, the death of an animal, the rape and silencing of a woman, having things done to our bodies on an assembly line created for mass pleasure, all to distort our voices in the name of delicious power. I'm reminded of all the times men looked at me like their next meal, licking their lips and drooling gross words, as if spoiled meat wouldn't make them sick, mutated, lesser versions of themselves. It's packaged in music, in movies, in the treatment of our families and children, serving up the finest cuts of women, ass first, boobs first, medium rare, just a little off the sides. Nah, I like them with more meat on their bones. But no matter how their women are served up, they can all agree that the chef has truly outdone himself when he churns out the grass-fed, free-range women because they're hard to break, like a wild horse. But how satisfying it feels when they break, like glass, like an object, like anything but what they really are. You want to see how the sausage is made? Man up and break that bitch. After all, we are the new roadkill.
Let's hear it for Rayla.
Always Rayla. That sounds like a perfume. Always Rayla.
Always Rayla.
It's like Rayla's in the room. It's like the top note is gardenia and the bottom note is musk. Hey, I think I just invented a perfume. I don't know how gardenia and musk would smell though, but thank you, Rayla. Thank you.
That reminded me, I don't know if I mentioned this last week or the week before or not.
Uh-oh.
But I was driving home from a show here one night, and I was almost home. It was late, like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And there's no traffic on the road. I was going up Cameron, that's all. And I thought I saw what, in the middle of the road, what I thought was the head of a cat, like sticking its head up. I saw the ears in the middle of the road. And the eyes reflected in my headlights. I was like, oh no! And then so I turned around, and I had to go back a little farther because there wasn't a turnaround. Came back and I stopped, and it was still there, like kind of bouncing back and forth. And I got out and I went over to it, and it was a little baby raccoon. And he was there. He was just like, he'd been hit, but he was still alive, you know. And I was like, I can't leave him here, you know. And so I picked him up. You know, I kind of made sure he wasn't going to bite me first. But no, I picked him up and I took him over off to the side of the road, a little farther into the grass, and just kind of laid him in there and got him off the road. But I figured his mama was probably not too far away, somewhere in the area, because he was probably following her across the street, you know. So from that point on, maybe mama came and took care of him, I don't know.
Dessa is a dangerous road.
Yeah, well, there was no, like I said, it was very late, so there wasn't any traffic. But I couldn't leave him there, you know. Give him a fighting chance at least, you know.
Thank you for bringing us all down, Ernie B.
Well, he might have made it. He might have made it. You know, you never know.
I thought you were going to say you put him out of his misery, like a nice human.
Well,
Wow.
but he was still he was still kind of like he was trying to get up. Like he was like, oh, I'm out of here, you know. So it was like, okay.
Okay, Ernie B.
I thought that was a nice thing to do.
You're fired. No, Ernie B he's a regular St. Francis. He's the one that's always like looking out for an animal in trouble, and he's like, raccoons! I'm like, they're rats. No, they're raccoons. Rodents. All right.
Rayla, Clint said that was awesome. Your piece.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because Rayla who is a
See,
very.
Groove Buddha on Twitch said, "You're my hero, Ernie B." Thank you, thank you.
Okay, Ernie B's not a downer. Okay, good.
Don't let him give you crap. Thank you, thank you.
Hey, I live with him, all right? I can give him crap. All right, just to let you know, Rayla is a very talented jewelry maker. Keep a lookout because I'm still trying to encourage her a little bit, but I know she can do it without my help. She could design her own line of jewelry. Encourage her. You see the thing she's wearing on her ears? She made them.
Oh, how about that?
She made them. So yes, encourage her. She can do it. We need more talented jewelry makers like Miss Rayla here.
Gonna make a rhinestone wig too.
She's gonna make a rhinestone wig for Halloween. You have 8 days to do it?
I can do it. I believe.
Wow.
Mine will probably just be like crepe paper.
And next week we are here again from 3 to 6.
3 to 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully in November things will go back to 7 to 10. It's been an insane month, but yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I like the intimate gatherings though.
It is cool. It is cool. And me and Lane aren't running our asses off like chickens with our heads cut off, so that's pretty cool too. So
I also do kind of like a busy night because it means more money for the cash register.
Cha-ching. All right, lost in thought. Are we closing out the show? Does it seem like?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to close the show.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got to check out this camera before the next show.
Ernie B has to do some maintenance. And we got to thank the sorceress for keeping us fed, caffeinated, and buzzed. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
And thank you for warming up my chicken sandwich.
It was already ice cold. All right, should we do the thing?
Let's do the thing.
You have been witness to the best open mic in the ATX. Spoken and heard live every Sunday afternoon at Kick Butt Coffee, Music, and Booze. It's not just an open mic, it is a show, not a show without each and every one of you, including you, Amiella. Thank you and good night!